Alright guys, my name is Shervin. Welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to talk about the brand new Tim Hortons credit card. Now, back in the day, CIBC used to offer a Tim Hortons credit card which offered only 1% cash back on your purchases, which, as you can imagine, it was a pretty bad credit card and it was discontinued in 2019. But now Neo Financial have partnered with Tim Hortons to offer a brand new Tim Hortons credit card, and this one is actually not all that bad. Yes, I too was also shocked to find out that it actually offers some decent points on some specific categories, so we're gonna take a closer look at it to see if it's actually worth having or if it's just another dud. But of course, as always, if you are new to my channel and you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash the subscribe button down below and join the community. I make new videos about personal finance and investing on a regular basis, and by subscribing to the channel, you get to see all my new videos right as they come out. Also, if you enjoyed the video and want to support me even more, then do me a favor and smash the like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. But alright, with all that said, let's get right into it. Now, the Tim Hortons credit card, as you would expect, is free to own and it doesn't have any annual fees. But what exactly do you get from the card if you use it on a day-to-day basis? Now, for every dollar spent at Tim Hortons, you get 15 points, which is crazy high. For every dollar spent on gas, groceries, and transit, you get 5 points back. And then for every $2 spent on everything else, you get 1 point back. So basically 0.5 points per every dollar spent on all else. But now the question is, how much are these points actually worth? Because think about it this way, if each of these points are worth 1 cent, then some of these are crazy high numbers. Could you imagine 15% back at Tim Hortons, 5% back on gas, groceries, and transit? Not to mention all for a free-to-own card, that would be insane. Well, unfortunately, as with most things in life, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Now, neither Tim Hortons nor Neo specify how much each of these points are actually worth when you're redeeming them, which is why I decided to investigate for myself and find out exactly how much value you can get from each of these points. Now, in order to get the maximum amount of value out of these points, you have to redeem them towards Tim Hortons products. And even though they don't make it clear how much you can redeem each of these points for, they do make it clear how much you would need to spend in order to get some of these products. Now, of course, I did some research and I found out exactly how much each of these products cost, at least here in Vancouver, so that way we can extrapolate exactly how much each of these points are actually worth. But before we get into it, I just want to give a disclaimer that these are the prices I found from my local stores here in Vancouver, and these prices may be different in other places in Canada. So just keep that in mind. Some of these numbers may be slightly higher or lower depending on where you live, but they all should be roughly somewhere around the same numbers as what I came up with. Now, if you've accumulated 300 points with this credit card, you can use it to redeem towards a free cookie, donut, or hash brown. Now, the price for these products ranges from $1.50 to $2 before taxes, which means that if you use those 300 points to redeem one of these products, the max amount of value that you can get from each of these points is 0.67 cents. If you have 400 points, you can use that to redeem towards a coffee, tea, dream donut, bagel, or other baked goods. Now, the price for these products ranges from $2 to $2.50, which would mean that the max amount of value that you can get from the points if you redeem them towards these category of products is 0.63 cents. For 600 points, you can get a hot chocolate, French vanilla, iced coffee, or wedges. The price for these products ranges from $2.50 to $3.50, which means that the maximum value you can get from each point is 0.58 cents. So far, it seems that the higher the price of the product, the lower the amount of value you get from the points as well, which is not a good sign. But let's take a look at the next category and see if things improve. Now, for 800 points, you can get either 10 Timbits, a yogurt, a frozen drink like an ice cap, or some kind of an espresso drink. The price for these products ranges from $3 to $5, which means that the maximum value you can get from each point is about 0.63 cents. So it's good to see that it's slightly higher than the last category, but it's still lower than the first category. Do things improve from here or get worse? Let's take a look. For 1100 points, you can get either some kind of a breakfast sandwich or soup. The price for these products ranges from $4 to $6, which means that the maximum value you can get is 0.55 cents. Not exactly what we wanted to see. We're again below 0.6 cents per point, which is not good. But let's take a look at the next category. For 1300 points, you can get either a farmer's wrap, BELT, a lunch sandwich, or chili. The price for these ranges from $5 to $8, which means that the maximum value you can get is about 0.62 cents. Again, slightly better than the last category, but still not great. Now, last but not least, for 1800 points, you can get either a loaded bowl or a loaded wrap, which cost between $8 to $10 and mean that the maximum value you can get from each point is 0.56 cents. Again, not exactly great numbers. So what we discovered from all these numbers that we threw around is that the maximum value you can get from these points is if you redeem them towards either a free hash brown or one of the more expensive donuts. Because with those, you have to spend 300 points to get a product which is worth about $2. And that would in turn mean that each of the points you're using is worth 0.67 cents. Now, if we apply this number to all the points that we're getting on our purchases, we discover some really interesting things. So if we assume that you get 0.67 cents worth of value from each of the points that you redeem with this card, that would basically mean that you're getting 10% value back for every dollar spent at Tim Hortons, 3.3% value back for every dollar spent on gas, groceries, or transit, but an abysmal 0.3% value back for every dollar spent on everything else. Now, the 10% value back at Tim Hortons obviously is an amazing number. The fact that there is a free-to-own credit card that can give you 10% value back on anything is on its own very amazing. But of course, it does mean that it only applies to you if you're someone who actually goes to Tim Hortons on a regular basis. If you do, then this card will be worth having for you just for that one feature alone. Because if you just use this card every single time that you go to Tim Hortons, you get 10% value back with every trip. Now, the 3.3% value back on gas, groceries, and transit is a little bit more complicated. Now, given that this is a free-to-own credit card, these are actually very good numbers in these categories. There's, of course, the BMO Cashback Mastercard, which gets you 3% cashback on every dollar spent on groceries. And of course, that card is also free-to-own, and it actually gets you cashback, not points that you have to redeem towards Tim Hortons products. So as far as just grocery shopping goes, that card is a better card to have than the Tim Hortons card because you actually get 3% cashback, which you can use on anything. As far as gas goes, there's obviously a lot of paid credit cards which get you a lot more on gas. But when it comes to free-to-own credit cards, there's only one other card that gets you 3% back on some gas stations, and that's the CIBC Costco Mastercard, which gets you 3% back on any money you spend at a Costco gas station. So not just any gas station, just at Costco gas stations, if there are any near you. So if that's not the case, or if you don't have that card already, this could be a very good card to have. And if you don't already have one of the paid cards that get you a lot more on gas, then you can definitely use this card to pay for all your gas expenses. But as far as on all other things go, 0.3% value back on every dollar spent is just so bad, I can't even begin to explain it. In fact, almost all free-to-own credit cards offer at least 1% back on all else, at the very minimum 0.5% back on all else. 0.3% back is absolutely insane. So whatever you do, even if you do decide to go with this card, definitely do not use it on anything else other than maybe just gas, groceries, and Tim Hortons. So just to quickly summarize, if you are someone who goes to Tim Hortons on a regular basis, then this card is definitely worth having for you just for the points that you get at Tim Hortons alone. But if you do decide to go with this card, make sure to not use it on anything else other than just maybe gas, groceries, and Tim Hortons. You would be better off using literally any other credit card on all your other purchases. And of course, if you're someone who doesn't go to Tim Hortons on a regular basis, then there's no reason to get this card. If you want 3% back on groceries, I would look at the BMO Cashback Mastercard. And if you want good cashback rates on gas, there's the CIBC Costco Mastercard. And of course, there's a bunch of good paid options. For example, the Amex Simply Cash Preferred Card, which only costs $10 a month and gets you 4% back on gas. But even though this card is not for everyone, at least it's a card that we can take seriously, unlike the CIBC version that was going around for a while and was just horrible. But now that's about it for this video. If you haven't done so already, make sure to smash the subscribe button down below and join the community. Also, I'm doing a special giveaway for you guys. I'm giving away $300 to a random subscriber. All you need to do to enter the giveaway is to make sure you follow me on either Instagram or Twitter, or X as it's called now. You only have to follow me on one of those platforms, but if you do follow me on both of them, you will get double the chance to get the money. So if you're already on both platforms, you may as well follow me on both. You can find me at Shervin House. And if you're only on one of the platforms, that's fine too. You can still enter the giveaway by following me there. And of course, if you already followed me from before, then you will be automatically entered into the giveaway. You don't have to do anything. Now, as always, if you have any questions or comments about what we discussed, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. I always respond to every single question that comes in. And with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.